Started. All right, welcome to the Truth Tribe, everyone. I'm Daune Thompson. Thank you for being here. You are all perfect, exactly where you are in this now moment. There's nothing wrong with you. And I love you all very much. And I'm going to prove it because it's been an interest. So I'm gonna do a little personal shares tonight. But tonight's topic is emotional genes are kicking your ass. They're kicking all of our asses, right? And I really want you to understand why. Because I think we take so much of our responsibility out of the equation, and it's time that we stop doing that. So I want you guys to open up tonight with, what does healing and cutting your ancestral epigenetic lines of suffering mean? I mean, really, what does that mean? Like, okay, no, I'm like, it's 15,000 generations ago. It means nothing to me, but it does. It means a lot to you. Okay. And so what's happening right now is the epigenetics, this epigene, higher gene, which is the emotions of all the genetics through all the DNA through your bloodlines, go on forever. Okay. The epigene is the emotion. And so the emotional downloading from your epigenetics is at an all-time high, and you are all feeling experiences as if they are physically yours. They're experiencing as yours because you're becoming more aware of your energy field and all that around you. And then the work that you've been doing on yourselves enhances it, makes you more like, what is going on? I shouldn't be dealing with this. I shouldn't be dealing with that. Why the hell is that happening? Right. And so suffering doesn't make sense to you the way it used to, because you didn't really know why. You're like, well, I guess it's divine, or yes, it's just, we didn't know. So what I need you to understand is, from this point forward, it's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not society that's affecting you out in this real world right that you're in. It is you becoming aware of emotions that are you, and that you're starting to experience, and when going, wait, I'm no longer willing to carry that emotion, that feeling, that experience. And again, they've been programmed and downloaded for so long. A lot of us think that it's us, it's our own stuff, but they are expressing this energy, these emotions are expressing themselves through your physical body or physical experiences. And so that's the question kind of on the table right now is, how the hell what am I supposed to do with this? Right? What does this actually mean for me? Because it's not easy, DT. That's what I'm told. Dawn, it's not that easy. You're correct. You're totally correct. It's not that easy. I badly sprained and or possibly fractured. You can all see here. It's lovely, right? My arm. And then in addition to that, like, two big things for me, my physical body, my health, because I'm getting healthier and I feel better. And so bam, I go down again, right? And then got manipulated with this shady person hustling my money. And it all happened within 3 days. So here's my personal share. Okay. This all happened within 3 days. This isn't an accident, my friends. People are like, well, it's just an accident. Now, I'm not saying I brought it on myself. I'm not saying I wanted it, I deserved it. None of that. Okay. And as I've shared with all of you multiple times, I mean, I've said this stuff so much that after a while, I feel like I'm like a broken record to a lot of you, right? But how the course, the Truth Warrior retreat on March 23rd, is what I've been doing to myself, right? I practice what I preach. I don't do things and teach without knowing that I want to make sure that this is a functional tool and energy set that's going to shift you. Okay. And so I've been upgrading all 12 aspects of my reality, everything in my life, right? In my spiritual, energetic DNA blueprint, i.e., the DMT method that I've coined, that I've designed. Okay. And I'm teaching it in the Truth Warrior on the 23rd. But what happens is because we're upgrading all holistically, all of ourselves. Okay. Upgrading means dumping the old baggage to make room. Okay. And so most people are like, oh my God, am I going to break my arm? Oh my God, am I going to get fired? Oh my God, am I going to lose my marriage? My kid is falling apart. How should I rescue them? Am I going to get swindled out of my money? Oh. And that's all you focus on, right? We focus on that. And then we start seeing only that. But when you're you have to understand when you're upgrading, right? The moment I hit my arm, because I was just ruminating about this swindler, right? I call him the swindler. He swindled me. It was bad. And I was ruminating about it. I was just frustrated, right? So the moment that I hit my arm, guess what I quit thinking about? Being swindled out of my money. Then the moment I started addressing the healing on my arm, right? From my own ownership of self-healing, like, no one's going to heal this. I brought myself into the energetic field. I'm going to undo the energetic field. I opened up to then the next layer of this experience, which was receiving, which is my feminine, it's all of you, right? But it's your feminine aspect is to receive. That's not an easy skill for me, my friends. So absolutely, this is not an accident, but an initiation into a higher expanded self that I've been working on. And it's insane because I saw it. I literally saw it clear as day coming at me like a freaking, a freight train, a tsunami just coming at me from mind, body, spirit, body, mind, spirit. Emotionally would be spirit, emotion, right? I asked a friend, hey, can you do some energetic emotion code release on me? And if you don't know emotion code, I'm just giving you examples of what I did. If you don't know how to do it, you can go do Reiki and you can do remote healing, or if you can't afford that, you can just seriously write down what you want to release in all directions of time and space from all lineage and all family ancestral lines that are in your grid causing you this pain physically. I also then, okay, the arm, by the way, I got shower talk. I've got all these tools for you, right? If you don't have the ability. But then I was like, no. If I'm going to own this, right? I had to physically do something to the body as well. So I pulled up Barbara O'Neill. She's a naturopath. If you don't know her, she's all over YouTube. And I followed her sprain and slash fracture protocol by hot and cold therapy, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold as much as I could, and then a potato compress, which is what I have right now. It's an entire wrap of potato. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you on this one, freaking blew my mind because I couldn't move my hand yesterday. I couldn't move my entire hand. So like, I thought it was it's probably bad, but it probably was way worse yesterday that I was like, oh my God. But I took energy and I put energy back in. I also realized you got the physical, you got the spiritual, then mentally, right? If you've been too extreme in your masculine in the pendulum over here, you will have something showing up forcing you back into the feminine because the pendulum swings, correct? It goes here and physics has to force it back over to the opposite side. And if that's what you're asking for, guess what Dawn's been asking for a lot of? I want to be a girl. I want to be in my feminine. Your right side of your body is your masculine. Okay. So don't you guys freaking think this is hilarious that my masculine side got shut down so I cannot give and I can only receive now on my feminine? This is written all over my DNA chart of raising my energy to become balanced. And I was just ignoring it. Like, I'm doing good. And I wasn't. So when people go, well, this isn't easy, Dawn. No, it's not easy. Right. And as I keep sharing all of this with you, I want, you have to say, wow, you want something, but then you're like, because people tell me this, I want this, right? But then when it shows up, a lot of you don't like it because it's out of your habitual nervous system nature. So your ego is wired to a nervous system, and that nervous system will, in fact, fight for its comfort zone. And my comfort zone is taking action and being in the masculine driving position over the receiver. But I need to learn to balance both. You can imagine my husband's delight right now, being the boss over Bossy Boots, right? So he's like, wow, how are you going to handle this, Dee? It's fascinating, right? But I've been working on this. So was I upset about this? And it's pretty bad. No, I actually embraced it going, you did this so you could feel what it feels like. So let's review this. When you start raising your frequency, whether it's the DNA chart, whether it's you writing a sticky note down and saying, this is it, I'm done with this horrible feeling I have all the time, and y'all can hide it, but it's not going to go away. When you become of the reality that you really want, you have to be willing to go through a little pain, or when pain shows up, acknowledge it, that you're like, okay, I brought this on because there's an opposite I'm asking for. In order to force yourself to look at you internally and the aspects of you that are not only holding you into your own frequencies, but this energy that you don't want anymore, they're your ancestors' epigenetic energy lines of trauma. Okay, I've known it, I can feel it. And this is where I keep calling a lot of people out on mom and dad stuff. It is not your mom and dad who did the dirty job. They're just the ones who gave you the visuals so you could heal it for them, anyone prior to them, including you and your children. But it is energy, and it's epigenetic energy that I have been clearing. And many people, like this whole thing happened, right? Many people wanted me to, treat both of these things, right? The scam and the wrist with a lawyer and a doctor. But what I felt when it all came up was just emotional heaviness that wasn't mine. Nothing that I did was in the wrong. Nothing I did was in not loving and respect and asking to be respected back. Nothing I did felt like it was anything other than just energetic heaviness. Right? So then these questions come up for ourselves, asking ourselves, you got to ask yourself these questions. One, right? If you want to hold on to the old you, yes or no? No, I don't. So I'll take this instead of that to remind myself, oh, the masculine shut down. I have to receive help. My girlfriend and my husband giggled their asses off for me having to get help. Okay. Number two, you can also get to the point where you can't admit that you're not willing to try something new, expand, or shift your truth to a new expanded version. The new version is going to be uncomfortable, period. And people are like, I'm not uncomfortable with happiness and joy. No, you're not uncomfortable with it when you've planned it, but when you're just it all day long, you're uncomfortable, which we address at the Truth Warrior Day so that they're no longer uncomfortable, these uncomfortable emotions and feelings, right? And so absolutely, it's not going to be easy, but the one thing most people don't want to come to grips with, and here's your proof, is that I have an epigenetic gene or an ancestral emotional code that has traveled in generations. And so instead, this is what gets people stuck. Write these down. Who, the choice, and ownership. Number one, the who. Many people get stuck on whose energy it was. Was it mom's? Was it grandma's? Was it great grandma's? Where did it come from? What happened to them? It doesn't freaking matter. Many of you are falling into the I want to own this as it is mine, instead of it doesn't matter whose it was. It just came to cut it and be free. So quit looking for who. Now we can see where it came from, but I want you to look at the energy and the emotion and not upset with the person. Okay? Because owning does feel empowering. Number two, choice. This is the other thing blocking people from cutting this epigenetic emotional stuff, because emotions feel like we're sad. Emotions aren't sad. Emotions can be belittling, overwhelming, humiliation, abandonment, judgment, and there's just an array of all these emotions, okay? So the choice is, I don't want to believe that I chose this family or parents. And I did so I could be free and free all the lineage. We don't want to believe we're the one. You're the one, guys. I'm telling you, you're the one. And it's so hard to believe it. And then three, ownership. If I admit to this thing, whatever it is, right, I'll get labeled bad. And my ego wants to own and label myself as a bad person for it because, it could be something embarrassing or unkind to others. And this is your make or break point in every relationship that you're in. Are you kidding me? I felt so humiliated with this money deal. It was so frustrating, but it wasn't my humiliation. It was just, I felt like humiliated for making this choice, and I shouldn't have. I did the best that I could. So you can either see it and own it or ignore it and look like a whiner. And a lot of people are on one end of the spectrum or the other. So polarity is really, really powerful right now. I mean, you can visually see it. And because no one wants to admit clearly that they got swindled by a hustler or someone, has a family member that's a manipulator, or no one wants to admit that, like me, you're super athletic and they can injure themselves because my energy was off yesterday. I shouldn't have been playing, but I did it anyway. Or maybe no one wants to admit that they married someone who is not willing to expand in the marriage with you. And most of all, right, people cannot wrap their brain around healing their body on their own without running to the habitual mainstream medicine system, right? It's not mainstream to address the first aspect of where this all came from, which is emotion. It's not mainstream to address the emotions. They're not dealing with the emotional epigene on top of the physical. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to break the code. You have to break the line. And this is what it's coming out, which I came to cut. And so did you. So did you, my friends. You all came to cut this. And the more we understand that a lot of this stuff we feel, we're like, what's wrong with me? It's probably not yours. All right. So at this point in life, energy has become so visual, and you all can comment here on this, right? Energy has become so freaking visual. You can see it, you can cut it, you can feel it. You cannot hide anymore. So yes, you look like a crying hyena acting stupid and rude and disrespectful for no reason when people are trying to help you and they're willing to work through things with you, and you're like, no, I hang on to my old lineage and be pissed off and an asshole and belittling and whatever and controlling and judgmental and angry and all this shit, right? Doesn't mean you don't feel it, but sometimes if you're feeling it out of context for the situation, it's someone else's, and it's okay because it's just you cut. So when it's coming up through a physical pain, let it come up. And then it becomes chronic, then you know it's something else. But if it's just a temporary, let it come up because it's your body saying, we don't want this lineage anymore. And when these people or situations aren't working with you, I need you to know this swindler, I had an alarm going off the whole time and I didn't trust it. So when they aren't working with you, it's an alarm inside you to heal what is likely not yours, but likely ancestral emotions that only feel like yours due to emotional genes. And it's time to stop making everything so freaking literal and start responding and understanding to everything in your reality as energy and how it feels. Okay? So here's the phrase. If you don't have a healer and you don't have an energy emotion code healer, or you don't know how, the book's on my website under tools and DT's favorite books. You can go see the emotion code there. My girlfriend's really good at it. If I have a Reiki healer, if you don't have a Reiki healer, if you don't have the financials to go to acupuncture or something to realign your energy, right? You don't want to take another step out of the pain you're sitting in, right? Until this moment, right? To end it all and all lineage and all the emotional, all the trauma that you're like, I don't want it anymore. And you just can fucking admit it. You don't want it, right? I want you to use this phrase alone and how simple it is. You can write it down. I will put it again in the Facebook page, in the Facebook group, so that you all can copy and paste it from there. And now it's easy. It'll also probably go into the Truth Tribe, your dashboard as well, if you're just a Truth Tribe member. So just repeat after me. Again, I will copy and paste it for you later, but right now in your voice, repeat after me in your home, wherever you're sitting, where someone's going to listen to you, right? I now end all ancestral emotional trauma that runs in any and all of my bloodlines on both sides of my family lines. Any vows I made that were made by ancestors that have been handed down to me unconsciously, I sever them now. I sever all family lines of emotional trauma that is causing me to believe in acceptance of a life of lack, sacrifice, and suffering to end now. All epigenetic emotions that are not mine to carry, pain from ancestors, end now. I move forward now only in the form of abundance, love, kindness, truth on this day now. I reset all my DNA to its purest, high frequency form. Listening to me, even if you didn't read it out loud, will clear this for you. And if you feel it coming up again, then it's something deeper and you have to keep saying it and keep doing it over. As well as someone brought up shower talk, which is also on the tools page for free. Okay. Especially coming up with your partner and spouse. Now, if they're open-minded, this is awesome and they want to move forward with you. You're going to feel it. They may do different things or do it awkwardly or stumble, but that's okay as long as they're willing to. Right? So I want you to, we're going to get down to the Q&A. I want you to comment below where you're feeling the challenge of resisting growth or you're already standing in the light. But your spouse, if they want to move forward with you, you've got to back up and let it happen because it is fascinating. Okay. It's going to blow your mind. If you guys want to do this and you want to understand when I literally feel so much better today, even though I like it, I shouldn't say that. It's just in pain, but I feel emotionally, energetically better because I opened up that field. This Taurus, remember I told you the Taurus field of consciousness it's pretty big, but it also runs within your grid lines. And so a lot of times we think we're looking for something and we heal it, but we're not. We're thinking for the logical reason and not the emotional. Okay. And so I want you all to understand this. This is a really big deal. Okay. So I'm going to go into the planetary update here and then we can go into some Q&A and really, I want to even invite any of you who are willing to come on live onto the call and talk through this with me. But the planetary update is going to be, it's not going to be a lot tonight because there's not a lot more happening that's brand new from last week until the 10th, which is next week. So I'm going to bring it up next week where we have a super new moon. It's a new moon in Pisces, which opposes that Virgo full moon is going to be a new moon in Pisces that we're going to discuss next week. And due to my inability to type, well, this is what I'm going to give you in lieu of making up more for you to hear. So, but I wanted you to have a little bit on the full moon last week on the 24th. Why am I bringing it up? Because it was in Virgo, and Virgo rules health. Does that make sense? So, this should make you all laugh a little bit because it's a physical, mental, and emotional health. It's not just physical, but that full moon put closure to several things in my life, mental and physical. So this is an example that I wanted to share with you out of, all of you of my emotions, right? Not being cleared out. I wanted it out so fast. And so my body opened up at 2 purge points with my finances and my arm to purge as I got through an emotional energy clearing. Then I had a friend do the following. And again, like the accident, it like all immediately just purged out of me because I was willing, I was ready. I wanted to clear it no matter what direction of time it was. And now these are good questions for a lot of you to start asking yourself regarding how we can start standing and taking care of ourselves and understanding by clearing the energy of the emotion. And I don't mean just like crying and sad. That's not what I mean. I was crying. Are you kidding? My husband and girlfriend for Thursday and Friday, I was a mess. I was crying. I was upset. I was so freaking frustrated and pissed off. And I just let it out. And they both like, okay. Right. And so you guys will laugh. I was getting my nails done and I'm tearing because it just kept coming to me. I couldn't stop it. And she was like upset that she thought her nails, she was doing her nails bad. And I was like, no, it's not you. And so, right, that we have to clear the energy, and the physical pain of your reality will absolutely shift when you start understanding energy within your entire field and the entire Taurus field, which is, like I said, it's like a bubble around you. Okay. And so does this make sense to any of you? Everybody right here. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I know courage. I know love. I know truth. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. Okay. So what I would like you guys to do, because it's easier for me to talk than type and scroll. Share where you are seeing painful experiences physically, mentally, or emotionally that you either, yes, saw the emotional energy attached to it and you're like, yeah, I get it, an epigenetic perspective, or you're now open to seeing something and addressing it today from that perspective. So someone just said, wow, and my marriage is connected to my low back. So isn't that fascinating? Now, it's not specifically the marriage, but it's probably how you're married, right? It's how you're accepting yourself to be in the marriage as opposed to who you are. And so the marriage isn't necessarily bad. The arm isn't necessarily bad. It's just pushing you to heal the low back of your own personal safety and security because you're beautiful and amazing. And that's what I love about that, right? Do you see the difference? Like, it's not so much the marriage, it's so much the marriage is pushing you to see you. Right? It's not so much the money swindler. It was the money swindler forcing me to see me. When I get a gut, I will not question it again. I will call it out and I will write it out and it will shift it out different. When I fall on something, I don't take it personal anymore, and nor do I allow it unless my it got cut off or something. I had to go get it sewn back on. But I had to be in that perspective of what is it that I want to do, and I'm not willing to let someone else touch me because I created the energy. I can create the energy back in as I have, right? Does that make sense? So anybody else feeling this on this call, I would love to hear from you in what perspective that you're seeing this pop up, especially in people, right? I'm watching people. I've had a client was upset because family are being so hurtful and trashing them. And they wanted to spend time with them, but they're so hurt over how they talk to him and how they treat him, and so it was hurting him. And my answer is, they're not trying to be hurtful. You've grown so bright. They have done no growing. And so when you grow so bright, you are uncomfortable to be around. And so they're trying to bring your light down. They're trying to dim your light. So it's really not them. So being mad at other people, being mad at the swindler, he's a swindler. He's a hustler. That's what he does. Being mad at the pickleball court, that's not for me to do. So someone said left shoulder. So let me remind you guys, your left is your feminine, receiving, to receive, and your right is your masculine, to push forward, to initiate, to take action, okay? And so I want you to think of all these things. Yes, look at someone is saying, I think I need to shoulder a relationship and I'm thinking that I need to shoulder the relationship instead of being a girl. It's exactly what's going on, because when your left side is hurting, it's waking you up to get your attention to your feminine. I shut my right side down for a reason, because I've been writing it, I've been speaking it. And so it was for me to go, gosh, you really not very good at this, Dawn. I really do want to be good at this. You're all going to figure this out. It doesn't mean you have to be a masterful today, but mastering means you start today. And it doesn't mean you tell them how to be. It means you do how to be. And it doesn't mean getting massages and pedicures. It means understanding it's okay to want what you want. Okay, so that's a big piece. Someone says here, who is the naturopath you mentioned? Barbara. Her name's yes, she's an Australian naturopath with the most amazing natural remedies for ailments I've ever seen. And she's such a great teacher. It makes it easy for you to replicate. You can Google or YouTube her. She's easy to find on YouTube. Barbara O'Neill. Guys, she also literally just recently wrote a new book with all her cures and the protocols in it. I just cannot tell you the name of it. It's just, I cannot remember the name of the book. So FYI, she does have a book with all these protocols in it as well. I literally underneath this have a full pack. My husband peeled the potato. He followed her protocol. It goes into this like kind of a cloth with little holes in it so the potato can seep through the holes. It takes out the inflammation. It apparently puts alkalization back into the skin and into the inflammation, so the inflammation can go down, so new blood can flow in. Oh, her book, I don't know if that's what it's called or not. It's about remedies. It's healing remedies. But anyway, so then it's wrapped in saran wrap. Then it's a very strong pack holding my arm together, but it's pretty swollen, and so but it's gone down literally in half. since I've done this for 2 days. So I honestly get just as shocked as all of you, but you have to look for it, FYI. So she's amazing. I've done natural remedies most of my life, so when I find a new one that's on something that's physical like this, I'm like all over it, which again, I was willing to go, I'm not anti-doctor. I would have went if my arm was like, hanging off, but it wasn't. So, okay, next question is, let's see what this says here. Let's see, sorry. Why do we need not? Why? I don't know if this is written well. Why? Let's see. Why do we not know who we're clearing in our lineage? Isn't that what we're here to cut? So it's okay. I think it's saying, why do we not know who it is? Okay. No, not Pam Gregory, Barbara O'Neill. Someone's given me these books. Yes, it was a short planetary update I shared with you guys, and so we've already gone through that. So this question's saying is, why are we not clearing our lineage? Isn't that what we're here to cut? Okay, so super great question, because it refers to the actual person saying, why do we not need to know who? And the actual person who experienced the trauma, and you're not that person. You're just carrying that song of that person, okay? So it has transferred to you as an emotional weight that you've been carrying, like this person said, on her shoulder, of what I have to carry the marriage, right? So it's an emotional weight that you've been carrying, unaware that it's not yours to carry. So cutting the emotion is different than cutting the person off. Thus, the parents, the friends, the husband, the spouses, the whatever, right? That absolutely is important to keep, right? You've got to understand that in mind when you're keeping that. So guys, remember, your ancestors didn't only have sick trauma codes in their DNA, they also have healing power codes in their DNA. That's what we're tapping into, okay? This absolutely is important to keep this information. So, but at this current state, we've become so aware and so awake to the dark veil of bullshit that we've been sold for so long, we've been fed for so long, we're now aware that it's time to stop replaying emotional timelines of our ancestors. And if you go back far enough, you're going to go, holy shit, I am repeating it just in a different time and space. So today is your day to choose you, no matter what body part, what thing, what thought, what truth starts to arise that is painful or upsets you, or you think it's someone else. It's simply you with an emotion that you don't want anymore, and it's time that the purge is done. Okay, and so when someone just said, is there no planetary update? No, because really there's not. The same stuff is going on right now, but on the 10th, I'm on the 4th, so in 6 days next week, when I see you on Monday, we're going to talk about this super new moon in Pisces, because it's partially what's getting everybody a little like delusional, and it can't really be like that, and it's going to be part of Saturn and Neptune also in Pisces. And so we got a lot going on to make you loopy and weird and delusional. So if we talk about that, you're prepared. When I talked about the full moon in Virgo and your health and how it would impact you, we're not prepared for it, but I knew when all these things happened, I wasn't upset. And I'm trying to prepare you all for this. What's happening when you clear these epigenetic gene lines energetically, emotionally, and visually? What you're doing is clearing out the crap. And so, and energetically, once that goes, you swing over. And if you're not clearing some of the stuff you're saying to the universe you want cleared, the pendulum will force it on you because it wants to help you get it. And sometimes we won't let go as easily as we keep saying we want to, right? Does this make sense? Okay. Does that make sense? Are there any other questions on that? Nobody has questions. Like, you totally get the epigene and the emotions, and that it's going to come up in some altercation, some argument. And don't get me wrong, I did attach my attorney into a few things to see what his thoughts were, but he's also on travel, which told me maybe this isn't something to fight. Maybe the swindler really needs that money that bad. Have it, right? Maybe it's all these versions of things that I have to let go of because that's what my ancestors did. So we have to sit there and go, you know what? But am I okay today? Oh, I'm so okay. Actually doing the energetic clearing and starting to put some energy into me. My husband's been spoiling me like my God, it's been amazing. He's been so, doting on me and taking care of me. So it's been pretty nice. So is the pain kind of gone? Well, only when I think about it, when I think about what I'm getting in return, it's pretty darn nice to feel lighter, right? So does that make sense to all of you? Things are going to happen, and I don't care if you're in an argument with your mom or dad. I don't care if it's an argument with a spouse. You're arguing for the sake of arguing because you want them to see you, and they cannot see you. Only you can see you. So I'm going to bring this up again. Those of you, we have 18 days. If you are not signed up, find me. If you have a hard time with the rate, I've got discounts. I've had them the whole time. I've locked them out, but I will still give you one if you're on this call and you want in. One day, March 23rd, it's one day in Arizona. Okay, and I'm telling you guys, you will not regret it because your life will upgrade and be amazing in so many ways. I am watching marriages blow my mind how they're shifting. And this is a big deal because relationships need to grow. Okay, if you're listening after this live session on one of the YouTubes or Spotify, the links will be in the notes below so you can hear them. Okay, the next question comes up: if things are going to happen, but you have a lack of poverty mentality or a lack of something already, what will it look like walking into the new moon? It'll look like you're going to get more experiences like that if you aren't crystal clear about what you want to be. And like I said, I'm going to post this in the Facebook group. So you have the words. We just cut all your ancestral lines. And so when you say, if you have this lack of poverty, a lack of something already, you only have it because it's someone in your gene line. You don't have it because today's an energetic DNA that we live in on this planet. Anyone, I know 16-year-olds who are millionaires. So it's nobody's fault but us carrying this belief or feeling, and we think it's ours. You don't have it. Someone in your lineage had it, and it's time to cut it. So I will post the quote again one more time. If you guys want me to go back and read it to you one more time, and you can read it out loud to yourself, but you should have been reading it with me. Okay, I will. I'll read it one more time, and you guys can listen to it. But instead of listening, I'll go slower, and I want you to read it out loud. Okay. I want you to read the quote, how I'm reading it to you out loud, so the universe hears the vibration of your words, if that makes sense, right? The tone, I should say, right, of your words, so that it's very clear with what she was saying with this new moon coming up in Pisces, which is going to be a little bit like wishy-washy, right? And so what I want you guys to do is read it out loud and just listen to the vibration you hear. Okay, so here we go. I now end all ancestral emotional trauma that runs in any and all of my bloodlines on both sides of my family lines. Any vows, including poverty, were made by ancestors that have been handed down to me unconsciously. I sever them now. I sever all family lines of emotional trauma that is causing me to believe in acceptance of a lack life, of a life of sacrifice and suffering to end now. All epigenetic emotions that are not mine to carry This pain from ancestors ends now. I move forward now only in the form of abundance, love, kindness, and truth on this day. Now, I reset all my DNA to its purest, highest frequency form. Again, I will copy and paste this and I will put it in the Facebook group so you guys can see it. And you can print it, save it, rewrite it in your notes, in your journals, or whatever have you. But remember, there's a Facebook group now that I'm moving all my stuff into because, like I said, there's a link to join. I'll put it in the notes as well. And if you just type in Facebook or Truth Tribe with Dawn, you'll see me and my pictures. Join it, okay? You'll have a Facebook account. It's free. But I'm going to put all the live posts there, and I will repost this down there as well for people to re-listen to, so that we can start understanding that there's not a lot of work you need to do. I'm just telling you, when flare-ups happen, understand that you're the one that's cutting them, and so it makes it easier for you to do that. Okay. I'm not worried about censoring anymore. That's why I put you guys in a group so I can put it in there. And if it does, it does. I don't care. I honestly, you guys, I'm using my voice. I'm just done. If they censor me, they censor me. Usually it's for other things that I was talking about, like the poke, like things that go against mainstream. Because I brought up Barbara O'Neill, we might get pinged, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. She's not getting pinged everywhere. Okay. So anyway, again, if you're listening to this later, the links will all be below. The retreat, if you aren't going, but you know someone who needs to raise their self-evaluation of their life, raise their frequency, if they are having a shitty time in relationships, they can't imagine sitting on the beach with their spouse again because they're always arguing, and wouldn't it be nice to just go on a happy vacation? They can't imagine having no money problems because they're so worried about paying their mortgage or their car payment or whatever. It could be anything. They're so worried about their kids. All these things, all 12 aspects, it doesn't matter what topic you pick, we're raising the game. Okay. So I'm telling you, you find me and I will get you in. But if you can't go, then you find someone else to go, because that's you paying it forward and helping the energetic grid raise and keep more lighthouses on. Okay. Okay. I will see you guys on Monday for the next Truth Tribe. You find me if you have any questions. We're going to talk about this it's a super new moon in Pisces. Going to be a big deal, my friends. So I'll see you then. Everybody send me prayers and send healing angels. So it works. So it works next week. I need it to work. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. I love you. Brightest blessings. And I will see you soon. You guys take care.